Good day. Welcome to King William is Everything. Today we have a cartridge under here. It's right under here. Are you interested in what it is? Well, this was for the Commodore 64 and did something special. It didn't play a game, but it did something with games. It is the Isepic by Starpoint Software. You can see is a DB chip Gracely Commodore or copyright Ice 1984. So what this guy did, it wasn't a game, but as you can kind of guess maybe what this is, Isepic. It unlocks games. Well, technically it copies games. So kind of what you would do, I don't know if it says on here, but you would load some software. Because this didn't do anything by itself, you had to have their software. So you put their software in, you boot it up, you have your cartridge in, you boot it up, and you'll have your switch set correctly. Then you take out that floppy, jam in your game in the floppy, you boot it up, and the way a lot of the Commodore 64 games work, this starts spinning, copy protection, then it makes sure it's good, then it will load. So what you would do is say like you had Archon or something like that. Copy protection would run, make sure it's there, and then load the game. So what you would do, let it get past that point, and then like right before a demo or right before the intro screen or after the intro screen, you would go bam and capture it. Then you go back to the software and you could download it and dump it into a file. So let's say, just for instance, say Archon had 50 files. It would dump it out to just one executable. So the next time you launch that executable, it would just start up right after where it left off after the copy protection. So it'd be a way of backing it up without the copy protection. So that's kind of what that did. And there's some other things you could do. You had to be careful when you did it. It might take 5 or 6 tries, because sometimes you got the game in there, you're ready, click it, saves it. Well, you might have saved it without the intro music or something like that. You might skip past that part. So you want it to be accurate. Like some of the electronic art games, you'd see it flashing through the color cycle through the EA logo. You wait till that boots up, flipper, right before the music starts, and then you have the music and everything. If you hit it at the wrong time, you might just get to the intro and there be no music, that kind of thing. So it took a little bit of doing, and it wasn't perfect. There are a lot of games, the copy protection was checked like in the middle of a game, not at the beginning. This probably wouldn't work, because you'd capture it, get to the point where it's looking for copy protection, go, hey, they're wrong, So that's kind of what this did. And we have the software here, so we'll just take a quick peek at it. Most people have already copied the games out there, and but this was a way of getting rid of the copy protection off a game that you owned. But I know a lot of people use this to copy games, so especially if it was something copy protected, you want to just put it on a file, or say put it on a disk with 5 other games. This is how you did it. So it was a good way to just bypass the copy protection for the most part. Not all games, but like I said, if the copy protection was early on in the boot, the boot up of the game, check copy protection, good to go, load the game. This would do the trick. See, it's got a little bit of basement rash on it, but I'm sure it still works, because it probably didn't get much use. So this is kind of a neat thing that a cartridge was used for instead of just a game. So cartridge ports, you could do the cartridge port did a modem too, but so it's pretty simple. But by default, this is just a dumb cartridge. You cannot do anything with this. You can plug it in, flip the button all you want. It's not going to do anything. With your game, you had to load the software first, do this thing, then load your game, flip the switch, copy it, and you were good to go. So basically what it did, I believe it just buffered it into its little memory. You're done. When you're ready to put it back, bam, copy it to another floppy, and you were good to go. So let's look at the software really quick, and we'll be right back. Okay, so let's load the software from the floppy disk. Remember, this is a 2-part product. It has a floppy disk and the cartridge. So you have to load the software, and what you do is you say you can do prepare disk, and that'll let you format a new floppy. So when you do your copy, it'll dump it off to another floppy. You can see it tells you the wrong switch in the wrong position. There's no cartridge in right now, but you can run a program, copy a program, break a program, edit a program. Some simple options, some DOS commands, and then there's a file copier. So it's pretty simple software. There are a couple of little features you can do, but for the most part, people would dump in, load the software with the cartridge in there. You set the switch to like ready, and then put in your software, load it. Once you hit that, flip that switch, it would dump it off into the cartridge. Then you take your software, put it back in, and you can do, you would say, copy program or run program. So it give you a couple options. So it's pretty simple for what it was, and for the time, it's pretty cool. There's a big copying scene in the Commodore 64. I believe most people probably had pirated games or copied games. Just kind of that was the time. The TSR-80s, the other systems that were out there. They're all pretty much big. Pirated games was pretty common. It was just part of the culture, And this was another neat program that let you kind of achieve that if you liked. I can't remember what this would cost. It was probably like $50. There are a lot of nibblers and stuff out there, but this was more of a kind of like a software hardware solution. So it's kind of innovative. I don't think there were quite any other ones like this out there other than this one. But so that's kind of just a kind of a quick look at the software. So let's go back and do an overview. So anyway, that was Isepic by Starpoint Software. Just kind of a glance at what it did. It was just another way of backing up software. I don't know too many people that actually had this or used it. I mean, it did a good purpose for what it did. It didn't work on everything. There are a lot of soft nibblers, copiers that worked, and some specific ones that were out there that did a really good job at copying everything, or copying most copy protected stuff. This was something different where it actually bypassed or actually copied it after copy protection ran. So kind of to eliminate, especially like I said, if it was on a boot up, it could bypass it because you get to the part where it's already loaded memory and working. And as long as it never looked for that copy protection again, you were okay. And that's kind of where this kind of fit in. So that's one way the Commodore 64 fellows would like to get games. Like I said, I don't remember too many people using this or ever seen it very often. So, but it did work for what it was, and it's kind of a cool. And you think these guys had to get Starpoint Software is fairly popular. That there's somebody had been out there already, assume. Especially now, you think you did something like this that breaks copy protection, that would be bad, very bad. But that was part of Commodore's thing, and the TRS and all the other computers out there that people pirated games, and this was apparently another way that you could sort of get away with it. But anyway, thought I'd just pop that out there, let you see this. Have a great day.